This episode of Life After Injury has been brought to you by Fornos Law Firm, devoted to optimizing your legal results. Hello everyone, welcome to Push Rim Life After Injury podcast. This is episode 3, Going Home. I'm Ray Pizarro.
I'm Boris Del Cid.
And I'm Richard Bell.
We want to thank everyone for coming in and hanging with us today on our topic of and discussion. We're going to be talking about something that we all had to go through at one stage after we got hurt is going back home and facing the music, so to speak. And, we're going to just give you guys our experience. So Boris, you want to start off and letting people know how it was for you that first day you got landed back at home?
Yes. Actually, after 6 months of hospitalization, I was taken, home by my wife. And something really cool that happened was that everything that I needed for the house to be accessible was already done. That's something that is necessary to be planned way before coming out of the hospital. So if there's going to be any accessible retrofitting of your home, that needs to be done while you're still in the hospital if it's possible. So adaptation to the new environment, as per the last 6 months or the previous 6 months, it was pretty interesting getting used to maneuvering around the house. I had a couple of things that I needed to get adjusted to. One of them was being, in a smaller environment. The hospital was a lot bigger. But everything in the home was done already. So we had filled up. We had a couple of 2 sunk-in living rooms, and those had to be filled up with concrete, so it will be leveled. And we had carpet that needed to be replaced with hardwood floors. Had to have a couple of ramps done, one in the entrance of the house and one in the back by the master bedroom. Getting used to going into my kitchen and all that was again a new thing, a new endeavor. At Casa Colina, we had a little kitchen there that we were able to reach to, so I was a little bit more familiar with the other one, so this one took me a little bit of time to get used to. My shower had been changed to a roll-in shower, so that was nice to have. And basically getting in and out of the bed was also a new endeavor, since it was a different bed. Also, that bed had to be purchased actually after I came back home. Something that will be good for long periods of time of being in bed without causing bed sores. So I ended up buying a bed that complied with that.
How was your entrance from the front entrance and the rear? Did you have to do anything with that? Or?
Yes, the entrance of the home has a ramp that if you didn't know it was there before, it wasn't there before, you couldn't know now. You would not know now. It's a gradual ramp that was about maybe 3 inches to the door. And then in the back, that one's about a foot high, that was made from the living room or family room to the outside, and also the master bedroom connects with that too. So if there is any emergencies, I have another avenue of escaping.
Exit route, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So Rich, how about you? What you have to go through when you got home?
Yeah, my situation was a little different because I couldn't go back to my home because we lived in a small loft downtown. It was an older building. It was totally not ADA compliant, marble stairs and all that.
Oh no.
So my wife had to move to an apartment, which was fortunately a block away. The place is a lot more spacious. The building is, not perfect, but it's, easy enough to get in and out of. That actually took me some time to do myself. When I first got home, I had an attendant for the first several years, because I was a little weaker than Boris. So, yeah, so, learning to reach the elevator buttons and, learning, how to navigate through downtown, cause I live downtown LA. So, you have to know where all the elevators are and, so, it became, easier over time. And as I got stronger and, was able to move into a power assist chair, I was able to reach buttons by myself.
How good did that feel, bro? Being able to do that.
Yeah, that was a good feeling, but the best feeling was when I went to a fully manual chair.
Nice.
It was scary at first. It was very, difficult to push a manual.
Right.
Not having, any strength, at first, but, gradually after, doing the challenges of hitting the ramps, around where I live and, everything got easier. As far as, safety, because I live on the 12th floor. One of the first things I did was take a little trip to the fire department, which is about a block away, block and a half away. And, I let them know where I was, what floor I was on, and they took note. And so, that's something you have to do if you live in a high rise.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Interesting, dude. I didn't know that. Did you, Boris?
No, I did not know that. Obviously they do have to have some type of, contingency plan.
Yeah.
Which we were talking about, Ray and I were talking about, I gave him an idea of an invention that I have in my mind for that. I think I talked to you about it too. If I haven't, let's talk afterwards.
Nice.
Okay.
Get another patent.
That's right. So, for me, it was, we lived in a 2-story apartment building and of course stairs. We had to look, my mom at the time I was living with, she had to, look around and find a spot for us to move to. So we found a duplex that was pretty much, good accessibility through the rear entrance and
that was a little like my situation.
Yeah. So she's stressed out and amongst other things, just trying to find a good location for us where we could afford to stay and me being able to get at least into a bedroom and a bathroom. So yeah, for me it was really hard, but once we found the place, it was easy. We moved in and I was able to get into my bedroom and the bathroom. So that was the 2 main important things we needed to work out, and we did. I went home, and I do remember the first day I got there. Believe it or not, the first night I slept, at all things, 1994 January, we had a big earthquake.
Oh, nice.
I was in my bed at the time and I think my mom was in the kitchen or something and it shook and that was the most helpless and scariest thing I had to go through, not being able to get up and duck and your bed is shaking and you're newly injured, I was trying to yell as hard as I could, help, I'm going to die, and nobody in the near area to help me but my mom ran in and she fell a couple times, but she stumbled in and said, oh, it's going to be okay. She was holding on to me. But other than that, dude, it was pretty crazy, also with insurances, we had to find a way to, at the time I had Kaiser and then, I no longer went back to work. So all those issues we had to deal with as far as getting on the Medicaid system, Medi-Cal system, big headache, and somebody had to take care of that. I couldn't do it on my own. I was dealing with a lot of personal issues, and fresh out the hospital, you know how that is. So
absolutely.
I don't know how your experience was, Boris, with your insurance situation, when you went back home, if the changes that you had to go through.
Well, the insurance that we had was through my wife's employer, and it was actually pretty decent. That, as far as keeping that, there was no problem. But since the disability status was accepted and approved, I guess, by Social Security, 2 years after the injury, when I was discharged, then Medicare kicked in. So I've had the insurance provided through my wife's employer all throughout that time, and eventually they changed to another insurance. But 2 years after Medicare kicked in, and now I have, from there on, I've had Medicare as a primary since their company is less than 100 employees. Medicare is number one, or primary, and then their insurance was secondary. So I really didn't have too bad of a transition, thank God for that, because we were insured by the employer.
I think my transition might have been the toughest of us three, because I was working, my wife was working. For some reason, I was insured on her insurance, which was pretty good. It was great at first, anything I wanted, no problem. But after a while, they switched insurances to one that was horrible. It will remain nameless at this time.
Yeah.
But it was a big insurance company, but it was pretty tough to get catheters and the stuff I needed. And then my wife was laid off, and so we had to at that point start to exhaust our funds to qualify for Medicare and all of that. So that was my experience. After the transition, it wasn't too bad. I feel pretty well covered. I was going to mention also, I came home on a hospital bed. I don't know if that's what you were saying, but, after a while, that was kind of not cool. So, we went and, purchased a, like one of the sleep numbers.
Yeah. Sleep number select or something like that. Yeah.
Right. And the thing is, you have to really be careful about, getting sores. So I was really concerned about that, but I haven't had an issue with that bed. So
yeah, I do remember the day where you come home in a hospital bed, and you kind of feel more handicapped after a while. You think, okay, it's cool that I could sit up and eat on my own and stuff, but then you get to a certain point, a year into it, or maybe, maybe less, that you're like, okay, these other guys, they don't have a hospital bed. They have regular beds. And why am I still in a, I mean, there's if it's a medical issue, then I could see you having that. But if it's not, I don't see why you need to have one.
Briefly, they didn't send me in a hospital bed. When I was released, it was like, whatever, dude.
It might have been hard for you to fit in one, but
yeah. It's actually at that time, I had been the lightest I'd been in, many years. I was like 100 and
intravenous. That's the best diet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we ended up buying another bed.
Yeah. Well, it also depends probably your disability and the therapist that recommended you not to have one, maybe because they saw that you were a para and maybe you had more mobility that a quadriplegic would, and be like, wait a minute, you probably could be okay dealing with being able to sit up in bed, or
you know what? I don't think so, because I had a bed there that had a motor that switched air, back and forth rotating up until the time that I left. The thing was that I was not given any instructions as to, you need a bed like this, or you need to go and talk to your insurance company and say that, you need this type of bed. They just said, remember, you had to be turned every 2 hours, to avoid, the cubitus ulcers, bed sources. And, that was it. So no, they didn't say, no, since you're a para, you're okay. Or no, they said every 2 hours. Cause you don't have that bed now, this bed that rotates the air pressure. So, and my wife, I wasn't going to have her, wake up every 2 hours to turn me in or anything. So what we did is we ended up buying one of those, memory foams, beds, and
those work just fine.
Exactly. Never had a sore, up till, today, 6 years later. So
yeah, they scared me
real well.
They scared me straight. When you left the hospital, what did the therapist say and the doctor say? You do not want to catch a pressure sore.
Yeah.
And they told us their stories, and we were like, I don't know, are they exaggerating? But yeah, there's some stories that we ran across where a guy had a pressure sore, and he was laid up for like a year or more, not being able to sit up for more than, an hour or so a day. And that's That's crippling, man. We're already in the situation, and to have that on top of that, that just mentally and physically demoralizing, and not only for us but our families that have to see us down and someone to attend us all that time.
Yes.
Funny that you mentioned that, because the two bed sources that I had were at the hospital.
Right. Yeah.
Figure
on your ankles? Because
no,
that's where I got
no. When I was in ICU, they left an instrument behind me.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And it caused a sore that lasted about 3 months to get to heal up. And then while I was at the other place, I got another couple ones. But I haven't had any like that when I was sent home.
Yeah, that's the same with me. I had one in the back of my head. Mm-hmm. I think most people get a sore in the back of their head.
Well, yeah,
if you have the halo.
Yeah, or you have a hook head or something, I don't know, but, either or, but yeah, heads I never had an issue. I knock on wood right now, 19, 18 years of being hurt, not one sore. I have never visited the hospital, for any type of issues. So I don't know. I must be doing something right, or I'm just very lucky. Either or,
a little bit of both.
A little bit of both, right?
A little bit of both. So, it's always good to dot your I's and cross your T's, and make sure you stay on top of your pressure sores, your diet, and some exercise. All those three things are essential.
Absolutely.
Always check at least once every 2 weeks. If you have somebody that can check your back, your bottom, red spots, also hot spots, any of those, they need to be checked. If you don't have someone who can do it for you, you need a mirror, and while you're in your bed or whatever, you need to check constantly.
And another good thing that I learned from an actual friend of mine that's in a chair for many years, he gets lotion massages all over his body. I mean, he gets turned face down, and his attendant gets some good lotion and does a rub down all the way from his back down to his buttocks, down to his ankles, because it helps increase circulation, especially if you have a red spot or sitting on your butt all day. It's good someone to rub that down and have that.
The moisturizing part of it too, the lotion, the skin absorbs it. Along the problems that we experience is that our skin may just not produce the oils, the natural oils that we have before an injury, and that's because of this part of the nervous system that starts that secretion. Also gets involved in, you don't sweat. Some of us don't sweat at all.
Right.
Along those, the sweat glands are the sebaceous glands that produce natural oils. That actually makes the skin dry. If it dries up, then you have a tendency to have a more brittle skin, and that's how you can get sources.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's all these things we had to deal with when we got back. Yeah. It was as uncertain and scary that it was. We found a way to supersede and move forward with our lives. And the thing that helped me too, if you guys would agree, is talking to other guys that have been in chairs for a lot of years. Running to that guy that's been in for 18, 15 years, and being able to learn from them and give you some pointers.
Absolutely.
We're gonna address these issues specifically in other episodes and coming episodes that we can dedicate to specific problems, and definitely we'll get those covered.
Cool.
And it doesn't mean if you've been injured for 18 years or 20 years, doesn't mean this stuff won't happen. You have to be vigilant. You have to be disciplined. Everything that you do on a consistent basis will decrease the likelihood of you becoming involved into any of those pitfalls, such as the cubitus ulcers and such. So
and also
gotta be vigilant.
Yeah, and what did our therapist tell us when we left? Be in control of your care. Take control of your care. Direct your care.
Absolutely.
That's one of the most important things. Don't leave it up to the person. With
Absolutely
patience and communication, and take time to sit down with whoever's helping you and tell them this is the way it needs to be done because of my situation.
You're responsible for your own health,
Exactly.
not somebody else, because everybody else has their own issues.
Right.
If it's your significant other, they have other things to do. They might just forget for a small period of time, and then, you're thinking that is their responsibility, and certainly it's not. It's your own.
Cool. All right. So, man, that's one of the many things we're going to be talking about it more in depth later on. But we just want to start wrapping up here and just letting people know where to find us. Rich, to let people know about our
Yes, we're at www.pushrim.com. Come check us out. Join the site. Get involved. If you have questions or comments, even about the show, just leave them in the comment section below. I will throw the show up on the blog session, and I'll keep doing that. So we'll send out a little email reminder to come check us out.
to all our members.
And if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to the
YouTube
Club
channel.
Pushrim at YouTube.
Yeah, Club
Okay.
Pushrim on YouTube. So, okay, guys, so this is another wrap. And remember, to all our viewers, there is life after injury. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Right on.
All right.
Peace out.